Okay, before I start the meeting tonight, I just have one thing that's not on the agenda that we want to do. We have someone at the council table here that's going to be departing at the end of the year. He's served 6 years on the council. He's done an absolute wonderful job, and I know Sean's been a good friend to me for a long time, since we were probably 6 years old. Played Little League together and all that, so it's been a pleasure to get to tell you to shut up here or move on. And no, but truly, Sean, over the last 6 years, if you've watched the city transform, he's been involved in a lot of things like the infrastructure and quality of life and different pieces that have been very important to the growth of our community that everybody has seen over the last 6 years. So I just wanted to thank you for your service to the city, and I did text Kelly, and she wasn't able to come tonight, so we got to get a picture. We do got to get some pictures. She wanted the video, and I was like, I don't think he's gonna like that. So this is your last official meeting. So what we wanted to do is show our appreciation here from everybody at the city. We have this nice plaque made by RKA Graphics in town here. Just so you can commemorate your time on the council, and just thank you very much for everything you did. I know you're going to stay involved. I'm going to change my phone number so you don't have it. But we have, like I said this morning at our advisory appointments committee, there's several boards and commissions, and I'm sure we're going to be pegging you to come help out and use your expertise in many different ways. So thank you very much. Let's go up front here, and someone, if we could snap a picture so his wife doesn't get mad.
I should have known when Shemmers
smiled at me when I walked in. Something was up. Nobody knew.
Can we take a vote on this?
if he's allowed to leave or not, or what? Here you go, man.
Oh, well, here.
Yep.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Speech. I don't think so.
Would you like to call a meeting to order now?
He's got to be incapacitated first. That's the only way that works, right?
True. All right. Let's call the regular Clinton City Council meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please begin with roll call?
Councilmember Robinson.
Here.
Seeley.
Here.
Connell.
Here.
Shemmers.
Here.
Oberon.
Here.
Mussman.
Here.
Kern.
Here. Councilmember Oberon.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular City Council and Committee of the Whole meetings of November 23rd, 2021, and they be approved as published on December 7th, 2021. Move this be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes. All right, we will convene a public hearing on the city's application for a State Revolving Fund SRF loan and discuss alternative strategies, environmental impacts, and institutional arrangements for the construction of additional processes at the existing wastewater treatment plant and construction of a dedicated force main with pump stations for the RWRF ADM expansion project. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are here or online that would like to address this public hearing? If you're online, *6 will unmute yourself. Is there any council members that would like to address this public hearing? All right. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving Iowa State Revolving Fund environmental information document required as part of the State of Revolving Funds SRF loan application FO I move that it be adopted as read or presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right, we will convene a public hearing on accepting bids and awarding contract for project E-2021 South 8th Street Sewer Separation Project. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we've not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are here or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution accepting bid and awarding contract for South 8th Street Sewer Separation Project E-2021. I move this be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We'll convene a public hearing concerning disposition of city-owned property, 109 25th Avenue North. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing sale of 109 25th Avenue North to John Kavanaugh for $500. I move this be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
We will convene a public hearing concerning disposition of city-owned property, 656 4th Avenue South. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that are in the room or online that would like to address this public hearing? Any council members that would like to address the public hearing? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Oberon.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing the sale of 656 4th Avenue South to Jackie Arnold for $300. I move this resolution be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right, we will convene a public hearing on the adoption of redistricting of the city precinct and ward boundaries after the 2020 census. Have we heard anything in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there any citizens that would like to address this public hearing? All right, any council members that would like to address the public hearing?
Other than to say it was a little hard to follow.
Did you like drive around?
No, I did not drive around, but I brought up Google Maps. It
Yeah.
was a little hard to follow.
It didn't change a whole lot, but it did shift
Yeah.
here and there, and the boundaries are not always perfect as
No.
far as straight lines, but
And just one of the reasons why we have to do first, second, and third, we had, we were kind of pressed against the timeline with the governor coming out with this, and then we had, I think, 60 days close to adopt that. So that's one of the reasons why we have to do all three here tonight, so.
we got census data later than you normally would get it as well, so.
And then also we have to get it to the county so that he can do his job by the time that he has to make his deadline.
Correct.
So it's,
Were we going to
Love
make the
it.
first ward its own city?
Shimmersville?
Any other discussion on the public hearing? All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Councilmember Shemmers,
Thank you, Your Honor. I have an ordinance for first consideration.
please read the title.
An ordinance amending Chapter 11, Boundaries of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clinton, Iowa.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I move the council waive the two prior readings requirement of Iowa Code Section 380.3 and place the ordinance on its final passage for adoption.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to waive the two prior readings requirement of Iowa Code Section 380.3. In order for that to happen, it is required that we have a 3/4 vote of the entire council. Can we please do a roll call vote on that motion?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right, motion passes to waive the readings requirement of 380.3. We have an original motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the original motion for the redistricting? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right, moving to the audience comment section. I did not receive any yellow cards. Did you receive any?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I will give an opportunity. Is there any citizens that would like to address the council at this time? All right.
Online, right?
Is there anybody online that would like to address the council? Like *6 will unmute you. I don't think there's anybody on. All right. We'll move on to consent agenda. Councilmember Connell.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move we approve the consent agenda as attached.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Who wants to start?
I was going to pull one, but I don't see, oh, Jason is here. I'll pull A.H. Henry.
What? Huh? Adam Henry?
Adam Henry, thank you.
Okay. Is that it?
No.
No, I mean for Shemmers.
Yes, that's it for me.
Okay. Councilmember Kearns, go ahead.
Can I pull 6J and 6L?
6J, 6L. Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any?
6E? Should we pull 6E? E?
6E?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
All right. Any other items from the consent agenda? Nope. All right. Can we please have a roll call vote on the balance of the consent agenda?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right. Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move the claims be received, approved, and placed on file for the 3 separate claims listings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I have a very large sewer refund coming of $1
$1.
something, so.
I think it's almost 2.
You saw it as well.
$1.96.
Just
Better not vote
abundance
on
of
that.
caution, I should probably abstain from that.
I'll allow it.
Takes away our quorum.
Yeah.
We
What's
can.
that?
Yeah, this one we can.
Yeah, this one we're fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh.
Got him nervous.
Any other discussion on this? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Abstain.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that we have the air control claims received, approved, and placed on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Abstain.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Mussman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving parking restrictions on one side of the street on certain streets throughout the city. I move that it be adopted as read. But
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
yes, Your Honor, I'd like to move this to another date. I think we need a public hearing and notify the people all involved on this.
Okay.
I feel the same way.
There's also one in here, I believe, for the ADA restriction for the school bus.
That's a separate-
That's a separate
That's a
item.
separate one?
Yep.
Okay.
And that, I think that's more explained. I looked at the minutes as well from the Traffic Commission, and they didn't provide any, I didn't get anything out of it.
Right.
And I emailed one of the members, and I didn't hear back. Did you have a long discussion on it, or?
No, because the list
Was long.
Yeah, we decided that they made the list up, it must be needed, we figured you guys would need it.
Well,
Thanks, Tom.
that's not quite how it works.
Thanks, Tom.
All right.
Make a list for us.
So nobody had physically gone out and looked at the locations?
Not on the commission, but the staff that recommended. You know, the police and the fire department recommended it. And, the city engineer.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jason Kraft, City Engineer. This list was given to us a few months back by the Public Works Director, and there was the Fire Chief and the Police Chief were also present at the traffic study meeting, concurred that these roads are too narrow for garbage trucks, snow plows, fire apparatus to make it down these roads. And so this was at two separate traffic study commission meetings. The second one, we received a little bit more information, like which side of the street the Public Works Department felt would make more sense for parking. And so that's how it got there. It was generated by a bunch of city staff. Not that it's a problem, like it's a problem to go to another meeting. I just wanted to give you that information.
Sure.
I think I'd like to see residents notified.
Yes.
with you.
I'm
Okay.
concerned that, there's definitely not in every instance where it's going to cause an issue, but there definitely is a big list.
Right.
Yeah, if it was a few streets, it wouldn't
Yeah.
bother me so much, but
Yeah.
I think we'll end up with a lot of kickback.
Yeah.
we-
Have any of these streets ever had restrictions before that were removed?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
I mean, if it's necessary, it's necessary, but there's still, the public should still get
Oh, yeah, they should have the opportunity to,
to
I mean,
say
if
something.
at night when everybody's home, both sides of the streets are full, and then you've got a park 2 blocks away, that
Or-
creates another set of issues,
Or
right?
at least a concession somewhere where they can work out something where they can park in their yard or something like that. That may be an
Well, you
alternative.
can't park in your yard per the ordinance.
Well,
so-
I know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if we need to do something different, especially if temporary during the winter.
Do we know, do most of these streets have alley access?
There's a lot of streets.
I know there's a lot of streets,
Yeah.
but
Right.
some of them, just in my mind as I'm thinking about where they're at, I think there is alley access in some of those places.
Mayor, Council, Lisa. This list was compiled by the streets guys and solid waste guys. I just asked them, give me a list of all the streets that we have a difficult time getting through.
Okay.
And a lot of them, you can't even get through if people are parked on both sides in like a half ton. So, we presented it. Jason was in the meeting, because unfortunately I was in Arizona when he was in the traffic meeting, so I didn't comment earlier. But as far as alleys, some have alleys, some don't.
Okay.
It's just, whether it gets approved or not, we're gonna manage it, but it's just
Right.
gonna make life a lot easier.
Well, I know this, when we were discussing the calendar parking stuff, this was brought up that,
Right.
to take a look at streets.
Right.
So,
And
I mean,
we-
staff did it, what council directed them, so.
Right. And
Absolutely.
you did a good job doing it. That's not a problem. I'm not against doing it. I'm just, would like the people notified in all these areas so they have a chance
Yeah,
to say
I-
something.
I think, I think you're setting the council and the city up for success if we do send a letter and notify these folks and give them the opportunity at a public hearing to come in and discuss it.
That's right.
So that we can understand.
Notify more than just a public hearing notice in the
Right.
Clinton Herald.
Right.
That's
Correct.
not adequate.
I think we can send a letter to each residence that's along
It's
the
going to be a
street.
lot of letters, yeah.
It
Yep.
is, but I think the other way to do it is go to door. So, I mean, that's,
Yeah, and yeah.
Sean, do you have time?
I might have some free time now. Yeah, I think so.
Do we know if there's any handicap spots on these roads that would be removed?
Impacted,
Impacted?
certainly could be.
My thought,
traffic
and I
study
don't,
might-
I don't think a need is here. Is it possible to send the notice with the sewer bills only in those locations, or do we need to is it a blanket, gotta send it everywhere?
We're going to have to send letters out.
We'll have to send it separate?
So I
Okay,
think we
all right.
need to determine a date of a public hearing, and letters need to be prepared and proper notice given, and then they can, and other ways they can reach out to us too.
Right.
If
Yeah.
they just want to send an email.
absolutely.
Lisa, how long would it take to get those addresses from those? I mean, it's going to probably take a little bit to get all the
Yeah.
homes there, right?
We've done similar things before, so we could certainly get it compiled and sent out.
So we have a motion and a second on this.
Greg, you should clarify, or you want, or, not Greg, it was Ron. Ron, you should clarify, if you just want, do you want to just lay this item on the table and then set the date to get this approved after we've set up the public hearing and held it, or what do you want to do? Because there's two different motions. You can postpone to a date certain, or you can lay it on the table. If you want a date certain, then we have, let's see, it's going to snow pretty soon is my concern, but,
So which would you say the best way to go?
and that depends on
I
what
would,
Lisa says about how long it would take to get the letters out and hold a public hearing.
just my opinion, since I'm not a voting member up here, I think you would put it on the table. As Brian said, if this doesn't get approved, they're going to manage, and they have managed in the past, even with snow. A little more difficult on those streets, but I think,
Okay, I'll change.
well, we don't want to rush, I wouldn't want to rush
I
it
don't-
to a point where we're trying to beat the snow.
Yep.
Yeah, because staff can just put it on the next agenda after the hearing's been held.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I make the motion to table this.
Okay.
We have a second to that already.
Second.
All right. So
Do we
we,
have a second?
yep.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second to table this item. Is there any other discussion?
Who was the second?
Cody?
Seeley.
Yes. All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Coburn.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Connell.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution establishing on-street parking restrictions on Melrose Court. I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on this item.
I would just give a quick, since Matt's not here, but
Yeah.
the resolution says that the community school district has asked, they have a mandatory ADA pickup at 516 Melrose Court. School buses, difficult turning around at the median, and they would, I guess, in front of that, they're asking for a no parking restriction so they can turn their school buses around. So, seems pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. Yep. Come on up to the mic. Just please state your name and your address for us for the record.
Good evening, Councilman. My name is Terry McGuire, and this is my husband, Jim. And we do live on Melrose Court, and we do have a wonderful set of neighbors. So we are here not to create a problem, but to find resolution. And the situation is this, because we're stuck right in the middle of Melrose Court. And so I have knee surgery, and I leave 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And the problem is this, is that if we park on the opposite side, and the snow, when it gets, Melrose known for this, we get trapped in there like sardines. And we have very great neighbors. We do help each other out. But we definitely want to help out our neighbor, Kelly, and her little girl, and whatever we can do to get them on the bus, because she needs that. But at the same time, our hands are tied, because I have to go, not over, but around the court to the other side in the winter time, which is going to be a real challenge. And it's one of those things that I don't think I'm the only person that's going to be having challenges in that situation. And I'm not looking for a pity. In the summertime, it's not going to be a problem. But in the wintertime, it is the most massive struggle in that area that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's times I miss 3 days of work because nobody could get to us. And, you just take it because that's what it is. It's an old area of the town. And it comes with its problems. But, some solutions was, I don't know, because I never asked, and this is the first that we're hearing about it. We didn't know if there was a handicap van that the school could provide, which would be able to make it down there. Or, the other suggestion, which is long-term, is the island is a wonderful piece and it was part of the city, but it also would create great parking. And whether it be all the center, that way it can get plowed down both ways. It opens that up. It's just something to think about as far as the future goes. Like I said, these are only small solutions. Alleyways, Once again, when you're stuck in the middle and nobody goes down with the plows, it's an issue. And I know we're not going to be the only ones having this. It sounds like your meeting's going to be coming up with the same problem. But as a health issue for myself, but I also want to be able to figure something out for her too. It's important that we take care of that little one as well. Like I said, we do have a wonderful neighborhood, great neighbors. We have helped each other out tremendously. And we pulled each other out of the snow. And like I said, summertime, it's not a problem. We can suck it up and do what we got to do. We always have. And just right now in the wintertime, I just want to know if we can come up with another solution. But I'll also take care of her too. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, how did you know this was on the agenda?
I didn't, with the letter that I had gotten.
You did get a letter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got a letter.
I
So
got this
Melrose
letter.
Court got a letter.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And certainly, they're backdoor neighbors, of mine, so I can attest to what the problem is there with the courts and what we were talking about,
Just one moment.
with the courts in the middle, and it's so narrow that the plows can't even hardly get through, so
Yeah.
Okay.
long-term solution might be there.
Ma'am, just state your name and your address for the record, please.
Kelly Hendricks, and I live at 516 Melrose Court.
Thank you.
Brooklyn is my daughter, and she is correct. Our road is very narrow. We don't get plows down our road. I have lived there for 14 years, and we've seen them a handful of times because of the parking issue that we do have, where we park on one side, they can never get down it. My dad's actually snow blows our street, and has for a very long time, and does the sidewalks and everything else. I too wanted to bring up about removing the middle island. I think that would be great. Or if we could have a walkway built in the middle of it so that people can access from the other side, because like she said, we do take care of our neighbors. And that was my biggest concern, was for the other people, how they would get across that island in the wintertime. No, not to say that we're all elders on our street, but we do have a lot of older people on our street. It's not a young neighborhood. So I did want to address that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think,
The walkway, I like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's that? Oh, go ahead, sir.
Hi, Mayor and Council. My name is Chris Turner. I'm the Transportation Director at Clinton Community School District. And so this is a very difficult situation, but it's going to be a very lengthy problem for the district. So we don't have any vans that we can legally use to transport students with. So we have to use a school bus that has a lift in it to get this student to and from school. And so we are going to be legally obligated to transport this young lady until she's 21 years of age. And so this is not a short-term problem. This is probably going to be a long-term problem for her mom and all the residents in the area. So it's very difficult no matter what. And once the snow, even when the weather's good, to get a bus down there, it's you have to be pretty good to get it through there. There's the aesthetic lights at the end of it. There's a drug-free sign in the median too that's been hit maybe once or twice by school bus mirrors. And so it's very difficult even on a good day to get the bus down to pick up the student. And so I do know that it does cause a problem when we're going to put that snow in there for people to go back from the east side to the west side. It's going to certainly create an issue. But I can't get the bus down there any other way. I need to go off of Bluff and down the west side of Melrose Court towards 7th to be able to safely and adequately pick up this student to transport to school. And so that's kind of where we are with the district. I've met with the street commission a couple times. We've gone out, and Jason and I have walked the area trying to come up with other solutions and look at it. Certainly the island, the boulevard, is very aesthetic. It does have a lot of history with the community, but it is certainly would be somewhat of a solution. I know at a cost too as well. It's not a simple solution. But that's our concern, is once the snow gets there, we have a better opportunity if there's no vehicles there to at least keep that west side of the boulevard clean and have an opportunity to get the bus there and get a lift down in front of the house so we can pick the student up. So we don't do alleys in the buses. It's too unsafe, too icy. Stopping on another street is not a safe concern either. There's no way I can park a school bus on Bluff and lower the lift, get the student to the, it's just not timely. We'll have traffic backed up for a long distance. And the same goes for 7th, to try to get a monitor or somebody off the bus to the house down to 7th, that it's just going to be not efficient at all. So the school board's, the school's request is to try to get the parking switched from the west side to the east side.
If you remove the island out of the middle, I know it's got historical value, but if you remove the island out of the middle, would that still allow you to turn?
It's going to give us certainly a much better. There's no way to turn a bus in that area anyway. It's straight through. Yeah. I mean, there's no way to where that island is. You cannot pull a U-turn to come up the east side, pull a U-turn to go down the west side. So even at this point, when we're in a good day, we sometimes just come off of Bluff and park right at the peak of the boulevard, right at the island, so that we have plenty of space so we can get her loaded up. And it's obviously, and when the weather's good, it's not a whole lot of concern for her mom or family to come and pick her up 100 feet from the house or whatever. But once those areas are going to fill up with snow, and then it's going to be a problem.
As perhaps a temporary solution, I know the city has vehicles that are smaller than a bus that have...
How tall are you? 5'3", you say?
Huh?
Whoever is online, if you can mute yourself, please.
But we... Okay. The city could probably, we have smaller buses that have the capacity to pick up.
You're talking like MTA buses?
Yes. I think we have to have a short-term and a long-term solution.
Well, I think the MTA is tough. We'd have to bring Dennis in on that conversation.
Well, they're running in the morning at that time, and they are out on routes.
But doesn't it require 2 people?
Yeah, it's not the right platform.
For me to transport
It's not.
the student, I have to have a driver and a monitor.
Right.
You do for the bus, right? Yeah. So
Well, they load them up and everything.
If we did the walkway,
MTA.
is that still
the
going to
big
fill
buses,
that all up
especially.
with snow because of how we have to remove the snow?
Honestly, no, because my dad would snow blow it, because we take care of our neighbors. If we did a walkway, it would get through. However, I think removing the island would be a really good choice, if this is long-term.
Yes, one of the other neighbors thinks that's the perfect solution too.
Yes.
Jason, have you guys looked at doing I would say a crosswalk, I guess, but across the median there? That's something that would be a solution?
Yes, sir. Mayor, Council, Jason Kraft, City Engineer. We talked about this a couple of different times down there with Chris and crew. He had brought a bus down, like he had said. And we were trying to think of solutions that might involve just restricting parking and like at the end of each island. Removing the island seemed like a bad idea because when we tried to do that on Kenilworth and Argyle, we received a lot of pushback from many of the residents. They wanted to keep those islands kind of traffic calming devices. I know they have the ability to, aside from, so it's only like 20 feet, 30 feet across the island to the other side of the street to a parked car, so we didn't think it would be that big of a deal to just flip traffic on the other side. Ran that by the Traffic Study Commission. They agreed. Chris was there. I've talked to the mother a couple of times. So I was just sitting back there thinking one idea to get someone to a parked car would be to put like a sidewalk through the island, like you say, but that's going to get plowed in with snow. But I really think short term, to help the school district out, we need to restrict parking on that side of the road, or I don't see how they're going to be able to pick up their child. I don't think there's any other solution than that. Long term, we can get the residents together and potentially remove the island, make sure they're all on board with that. There's streetlights in the middle of or at least one streetlight in the middle of the island. And there's sewer drains, because the road is pitched towards the center there. So it's not like we can go out there tomorrow and remove it. It'd probably be like a springtime. But I'm in favor of flipping the parking, and maybe we can create a walkway just before it snows here quick as a short-term solution.
So, and I don't want to throw a mix in this with calendar parking we just discussed, but if there are certain times of the day that, the pickups and drop-offs could we restrict during that period of time? Would that be more beneficial for both parties? Or?
Yeah. I think that's a better idea. I mean,
then people can kind of plan around that, I guess, versus you just can't park there. I mean, if it's
a temporary thing,
8 to 10 a.m. pickup or a 2 to 4 p.m. drop-off.
Except for then, the only problem is then you've got probably parking on both sides, because we did think about that. But if you restrict parking on the west side between 7 and 5, and everyone's parking on the east side, then at nighttime you're going to have parking on both sides of the road. So, yeah, we just felt that it would be, there is no perfect solution, We felt that it would be the best solution just to flip the parking. Because what's to say that there aren't similar situations all over town? What's the best side of the street to park on? I don't know. Nobody likes change, I guess. But I think in this case, with a disabled child that needs to be picked up on the way to school, I think any option has to involve that, restricting parking on that side.
Maybe like you were saying, Cody, maybe a temporary bus with handicap access would probably be the easiest.
Yeah, without talking to Dennis, I don't know if that. But it's a question we can ask, and they are running at that time.
What's that? True.
Well, we would have to have an agreement.
Go ahead.
I'm not comfortable with that. I'm sorry. I don't trust a lot of people with my daughter. She doesn't talk very well.
Okay.
And I'm not comfortable with random people picking her up if it's not going to be the same people.
Fair enough.
And she likes consistency.
Okay.
She does best with that. She won't do good with that. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, if we could get a walkway in there before the snowfall, I mean, that might be the short-term
It
solution.
really, it boils down to making sure there's a path cleared, basically, after the plows go through.
Right.
Who's responsible?
Right, to get us through till we can figure out if we have to remove the island.
I mean, I like
Or make it
what Cody
parking.
said, there's a short-term solution here, and then a long-term solution that we need to address. Because, in what Chris said, we're talking about something that's not
we can
1 year
remove
done.
that island and maintain some neat characteristics with permeable surface pavers or something along that line where it still creates something that's aesthetically pleasing. Jason loves pavers, so he would be excited to design the project. There's power out there. We can maybe put some cool in-ground lighting or something.
We need some sort of solution for
I guess
now.
And there's a short-term solution, there's a long-term solution.
In the short term.
So if we put a sidewalk in for a short-term solution, you said that your father would
Absolutely.
maintain it?
You would.
Liability-wise.
I think
Liability-wise, that's still the responsibility of the city.
Right.
So it's
correct.
Well, he's already doing it.
right.
If it's not when the guy's.
We wouldn't assign it to
Yeah, you couldn't assign it to
No,
him,
no,
certainly, but
I'm not
it's
saying that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I guess the problem for the neighbors is that there's no way we can get that island out before the end of the year. So that's not a solution for right now. That's more of a long term.
Right.
So,
You may have a hard time putting the crossing in, too.
Correct.
I mean, if it snows this weekend, then you're looking at,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
So,
It's not going to snow.
Well, you can walk across grass if it's cleared.
Any other thoughts from council?
No.
temporarily, I mean.
Do what?
I just, timing-wise, I mean, the short-term solution, how quick can Jason put in a short-term solution so we can get through the winter and figure out what to do for long-term?
Supposed to
So
pose that
let's-
question to Jason, right?
Yeah, so maybe just call a point of order, I guess, here. So do we have a second or anything on this? Or
Correct.
So we have a
We have a motion
motion.
and a
So we
second. We're on discussion, yes.
So, yeah, if you could direct that to, maybe to Jason, say if that's what we want to change it to, and find out that timeline, because then we can get rid of this potential motion, or this
What do you think, Jason?
resolution that's here.
Use Brian's guys.
You're the man with the answers.
Well, I mean, are you saying switch the parking to the other side of the street and then knock a hole in the median? Is that what?
I'm not sure what we're saying, but I think the short-term solution,
Yes, I think that's what they're
Is that
discussing.
correct?
Yes.
Because I mean, I think the long-term solution is, yeah, obviously a ways away, but somebody will have to, is the purpose of, because if this is approved, then you can just add a sentence in there that says, and the city will also provide a walkway through the island to the people that now have to park on the other side of the street. Then if you adopt that resolution, then
It's a short term.
I don't know, Brian's got some pretty capable fellas down there in the street department, so.
I like that, I passed that buck really easy there.
They do nice job.
I don't know how to do anything, on the other hand, so.
Okay.
I still think there needs to be a long-term solution, though.
Well, we're going
Right.
to have to work on that.
I think, yeah, we'll have to,
Yeah.
we'll have to.
I mean, the
address
interest of
motion.
both parties, it's can we come up with a
Yes.
moderate solution for both of them this evening? And then a goal would be to work for that long-term, or
Next
potentially
summer.
your goal next year would be to work for that longer-term solution, right? And so I think if they're okay, we would just need to modify this resolution to add that crossway or crossing in it, and that would be sufficient for now.
And then we put it back
Sir,
on
would
our-
you be, sir, I forget your name. Would you and your wife be okay with like a walkway if we were
I
to
know.
put that
For
in?
right now.
I know.
For temporary, or not temporary, short-term.
Short term.
Because there's no way we can get parking or get the median out of there before winter. That is not capable.
Hall sidewalk.
Our only other solution was, but then again,
If we clean the City Hall sidewalk,
So then that needs to be.
the time point of drop
has to have
off.
that on their regular daily
Yeah.
snow
Because
cleaning
generally we were
responsibility.
We're right next to
We cannot
We're
allow
gone before
that guy to
she's
do
on
it
the
for us. I mean, he can, but
And
we
as far
got to
as,
check it.
You know, by the time we get home, our vehicles don't have to be there, because we don't want to be in the way of the bus trying
He
to
doesn't
get
get
down.
there.
So our
We better get
priority is
there.
also to help them. I can't speak for everybody else on down the road, because they have first, second, third shift jobs. So I can only speak for our time frame. That would be the only thing. My only concern was with the walkway, if it is icy, trying to get across. And,
In the-
trust me, I'm not aware of, but
This-
after going through this, it's really put a pinch on some things. Yeah, like
Yes.
summertime, I wouldn't even care. If it was the street, I wouldn't even care. Because I can cross that no problem. It's just running into the icy weather and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So conversing with legal counsel here, if the walkway is put in, it does become the city's liability to have cleared, because that's city property, just like we would the sidewalks in front of City Hall and all that. So, kind of on that, if it gets icy and someone falls and gets hurt and we put that in, then the city is liable for that. So, I don't know if the walkway is necessarily the solution then, but I don't know what that solution is either. So, I will say that if we would have approved calendar parking like I recommended from the 15th to the 15th, we would probably be okay.
Well, they would have nowhere to park.
But yeah, so just to throw that out there. So basically, we've had a lot of discussion. Where we're at is the council do they want to approve shifting the parking to only the one side? And is there anything that you want to add in there? Because that's what our motion and our second on the table is. Do we want to shift the parking in this instance?
I'm not particularly fond of anything right now because I don't have a good answer.
Well, but the school district is mandated to do this pickup, so we have to get that pickup solved safely. You know, and the secondary thing is we need to work on how we're going to make this, you know, fit our residents of that particular, you know, area. I mean, we're mandated to do it. I don't think we have any other choice, given this limited information right now. But we can't just drop it. We got to work, you know, figure it out.
Can I just say one thing?
Yep.
Currently, it's parking on only one side right now anyway, so I'm not sure if you're aware of that. So it's not parking on both the east and the west side. So we would simply, those that were parking on the west side would have to park on the east side, and no parking would switch to the other side. So it's not parking on both sides of the boulevard currently. It's just
Right. It's shifting it to one side.
So it's not changing the number of parking spots.
No.
No,
Just
it's not.
moving them to the other side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
I call the question.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
First one spot, yes.
Seeley.
You're just voting to end debate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mossman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Okay. We had a motion and a second. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
I need clarification. This is our short term to our further working on. That's our intention.
That's what my intention is. I'd put.
Yeah, short term.
Okay.
Yes.
Connell.
Yeah. Yes.
Summers.
No.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mossman.
Yes.
Kearns.
I've had my knee replaced, so I feel really bad for her. Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Your Honor. A resolution setting public hearing on the proposed sale of city-owned property, 611 8th Avenue South. I move that this resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Summers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mossman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving the competitive bid criteria and procedures for disposition of certain property located within the Lincoln Industrial Rail Park. Do I need to read all this?
Yes, sir.
In the Air Park Urban Renewal Area. Determining that the proposal was submitted by AMP Properties LLC satisfies the offering requirements in declaring the intent of the city to enter into a real estate purchase agreement by and between the City of Clinton, Iowa and AMP Properties LLC in the event that no competitive proposals are submitted. 3, ordering publication of notice of competitive bidding and soliciting competing proposals. And 4, fixing date for public hearing on the proposal to enter into a real estate purchase agreement with AMP Properties LLC and providing for publication and notice of thereof. Let me explain it to you guys. We got someone that wants to buy some property, but everybody needs to bid on it, and we're going to go through the entire procedure, and if no one else bids on it, they will get the property. I move this resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Did I sum it up correctly?
You did a great job.
Thank you. This was a lot of legal stuff that Pat must have wrote.
No. could have gotten that down to about 11 words.
It would have been nice to know
It
that.
would have been perfectly clear what I meant, too, with just 11 words.
Any other discussion on this? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Shemmers.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing execution of Iowa opioid allocation memorandum of understanding and settlement participation forms. I move this resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
I would like to mention that my understanding is that the money that we would receive from this would go straight to the opioid program, correct?
Right, all
Correct.
funds would have to be used to battle the epidemic.
Okay.
Good deal.
Correct. All right, any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
That's where you got to work. Going to unfinished business.
Oh, yeah.
Councilmember Shemmers, A.H. Alpha Hotel.
Right up here, Bill.
Mill Creek Parkway concrete patching.
I just had a real quick question for our engineer. I won't maybe be a quick question, but
Probably not.
so there was a lot of work done out there. What happened? Why do we need all that work out there?
Well, believe it or not, it was 20 years old, and
We own it, that's what.
so $500,000 or $600,000 worth of concrete patching on a 4-point-some mile roadway after 20 years. That's just probably par for the course. Yeah, I think that we design roads a little better than that now, but like that's 20 years ago, and
And that's what I was getting to.
the joints were too far apart, and they didn't use a lot of drain tile under the pavement. So there was a couple instances where we put the joints closer together, and like out there by the casino, we used some drain tile and porous rock, things like that.
So will this help us in setting up to turn this road over to the state?
Yeah, I mean, the next thing we'll have to do is, when we can budget for it, is we'll have to add some shoulders and perhaps an overlay of the road. But I think, and then we have to extend the parkway, but nothing to do with this agenda item at all.
Good maintenance project, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it went rather well.
It's actually smooth when you're driving.
We jumped on
Oh,
it
it's
so quick.
nice.
The reason we jumped on it so quick was because we were trying to make sure that it was set up to be a good detour for
Yeah.
manufacturing in Bluff, which,
Yeah. Well, and all the traffic with out there right by the casino with the heavy trucks, that kind of tore things up quite a bit right there.
They tore it really.
What's that?
When they drove through it wet, it was really torn.
Yeah, yeah.
all
The
down
the pollinators and stuff.
yeah, man, but it went really good. So I think that we never would have been able to get it done without the good weather. So it was good to wrap that up before winter. It was kind of to be expected. That's a tough road to maintain.
All right.
A lot of tracks.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jason.
Jason.
Any other discussion on this item?
Somebody's got theirs on.
I'll move this
That was me. Yeah.
Someone's watching
item
YouTube.
forward.
All right, we have a motion to move it forward. Do we have a second?
Second.
Wait till I stop talking.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
6J.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Yes.
Oben.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Kearns, 6J.
Thank you, Your Honor. Jason, you might have to come back up for this, I'm not sure. I know this is just to accept the letter that they presented to us and put it out there, but my question is, if we had so many people interested in this one property, why didn't it go to the highest bidder instead of just dividing it among three?
Are we on 6J?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This was the Ike's Peak people that came and sat.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good question. Every time we vacate a right-of-way, This is usually the process we follow. We consulted with one of Pat's colleagues at Lynch Dallas with this. We did this on Buell and up there in the Buell neighborhood before. Follow the same process. We only had one person that originally petitioned, so we pretty much tried to first attend to his wishes. But in doing that, we also, since we're vacating right-of-way, I guess we really didn't have to, but we went the extra mile, notified everyone, and asked, what would you like half of the road? You know, that was one decision we could have made out of several, according to Steve Leidinger. So we thought it would be fair, though, to offer, and this is what Steve asked us to do, so you got to get an appraisal and disclose that to these people, ask them if they would like to own half of the right-of-way. That way you're being fair and impartial to everyone, and not just favoring one individual. So I don't know if there would have really been a bidding war, because who wants to own the
we haven't done it yet.
parcel?
Right, but technically, it's a right of way is not going to be a buildable.
Not a buildable lot.
So
It's in and of itself.
we do have some precedents where we have, if it's not a buildable lot, then it's got to go to budding property owners anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we haven't sold anything yet or approved anything.
Correct.
No.
He had some points that he wasn't offered half.
Right.
And also some utility concerns, but I believe that's all needs work done. Nothing's been done by the city council.
Nothing's been done.
No, this is just for their
But we were
letter,
just
but-
giving you back, I think she was asking about the background. So, and Councilman McConnell's right, you know, it's not a buildable lot. It doesn't make any sense to have this out for bid. You probably would have had to accept much less. The city probably would have had to accept much less. So from here forward, what we're going to do is respond. We've already reached out to all the individuals that, do you want half this for this price? I think Leah's getting back to them, and then we'll respond to the utility concern. But
Yeah, that answers my question. I didn't know that there was a difference between what kind of lots we were selling.
yeah, it's an old right of way, 4th Avenue North, and then an alley. So.
Okay, all right, thank you. Shall I continue?
Well,
Jason, you can sit down. I'm done with that. I'm done with that one. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, there you go. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shemmers. Yes. Obrin.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Councilmember Kurtz?
All right, and this one is just about the Heartland Greenway project, which I don't need Jason for, but thank you. I just didn't know if, I know there were a couple of us at the meeting. I know Bill and I were there. I don't know who else was there, because there was a lot of people. But is anybody interested in having the city write a letter in opposition or for the pipeline, or are we just going to let all the farmers in the room take care of it?
I think, from my perspective, from what I got out of that, they are going to come meet with the city.
Oh,
The company is. So I think we should at least kind of hold until we do that. We also, do we have the data of how many residents of Clinton are actually affected? I think we need to have that as well, because there's a lot of county folks that are affected.
Yes.
And there's some city land out near the airport area, but we need to know how many city folks are in the city limits are affected by that before. But I think before we would do something opposing or being for it. That's just my opinion. But I think it'd be nice to have that meeting, and maybe we can have them come and meet with the city here, so that all 7 of you can be here and ask questions and do that. I think that would probably be a good way to do that.
Mostly those in Shemmersville.
Correct. Yeah, maybe you can find out for us.
I was going to see, is the county doing anything more with that? Because I know you had one of your supervisors there, and he came out really strong, with a strong opinion. I didn't know if you guys were going to look at this any further, or?
Yeah, we've talked to Elizabeth and Craig there, and they're going to come out with the data. They said they're going to get with our county engineer and give you the real specifics of where it is. And then they said the same thing, we could invite them to come out, and they said, or invite the utility board to come out, and they said then the navigator would naturally come with them. I think we're still a couple months away.
That's another point too. They haven't finished all their public hearings, so we don't even know where it's going to go. It could change considerably. And they said they have to do soil testing and all that stuff, so it could be rerouted, a million different ways.
Yeah,
so.
that's the biggest thing I took away from it. They're still in the planning stages.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, all right, I move to approve.
And I'll be sure the county engineer, if he gets anything.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve this.
Need a second?
Yes, we need a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shimmers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
All right, Councilmember Seeley, 6E.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I wanted to call attention to all the great things they're working on, but there was also just some discussion in there about them talking to the mayor, and I wanted a little update on it.
Which part?
About the lack of attendance.
Yes. They've had some attendance issues on the Hometown Pride. They have some ideas on solutions. I'm going to meet with Francis and Gary the 23rd of this month to have discussions on that and get their ideas. We did pass along, Lisa and I both passed along, that if there are folks that are on the boards and commissions that are not attending meetings, we do have in our ordinance how to remove those folks if they're not participating. I think a couple commissions have used that in the last couple years. So we're going to continue to I'm going to have that discussion with them. I'll figure out what they want. And if there are items that we can't solve from there, then obviously it would have to come to council. If things were going to be, if the makeup of the committee was going to change, council would have to approve that. That's not my decision.
Sounds great. I look forward to it.
Do you want the other item in there too?
Which one? The synergy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The Mayor's Youth Commission is a board and commission that we have by ordinance, and it has not been used in quite some time. There's a high school and a middle school division. Councilmember Oberon and I have been discussing with Synergy. I thought it would be a good task for the youth and the Synergy group to kind of decide what the Mayor's Youth Commission is going to do. Because I think who better to ask than the people that are going to be on the commission. So Synergy gave us a very good presentation, and they're not quite finished with it yet. They wrote up some things, and I think Hillary and the Synergy group are going to be coming to you guys at the end of January. In that second meeting in January to give a pitch on what the Mayor's Youth Commission, what they want it to do. And we've discussed that we will start with the high school. We'll fill those 11 seats, and we'll work on the high school one for a year or so before we engage the middle school to make sure that we have a good plan and a good flow before we try to do both, because I don't want to fail on both ends. So let's get one right, and then we'll slide it down to the next one. And middle school obviously has more challenges with transportation and things like that versus high school. So that's what I have from Hometown Pride.
It's awesome. I look forward to further updates.
One more thing on the Hometown Pride, we have an item in there about the pavilion.
Yep.
And somehow Francis thought that I was like a leader of that pavilion project.
Yeah.
Thank you, no. I said, Francis, this is something that has to go through city engineering.
Yep.
I'm out of it.
Yep. And speaking of the city engineer, should we call him up to address
One more time.
And it's like that project has taken on, there's so many working pieces in there, but it's only one project, folks, and we've got to work through those projects, and Jason's the one that knows about it, and why Francis is asking me about it, I didn't understand.
You know everything.
Yeah. And then the other thing was, I want to hit up on what Scott said about the Synergy group. I've been to a couple meetings that Scott was either before me or behind me because we couldn't go at the same time. And I'll tell you that what a great group of young people that are really, they're really getting after this, and they really believe in what the Mayor's Youth Commission is about, representing youth in our community on a level on here. So I'm really looking forward to that January. That's going to be.
And I had an idea. I'm not going to throw it out there, but I had an idea for the first project, and Josh will like it, Mr. Eggers. So, all right. Any other discussion on that, Councilmember Seeley?
No, that was more than
All right.
adequate. I'm happy I pulled it, actually.
Do you have a motion?
Next meeting for.
We have a
I'll
motion
make a
to
motion
approve it?
to approve it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Hometown Pride minutes. Is there any other discussion? All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Robinson.
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Connell.
Yes.
Shimmers.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes.
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem for the last time.
That's right. I move we adjourn to 5 p.m. December 22nd, 2021.
Second.
We are adjourned. Give us a second to get the IT set up, and then we will start the committee of the whole meeting.
Next week. That's a special meeting.
Yeah.
Not the mayor.